Hello, friends. Welcome to today's football predictions on Betkraft. Okay, it's another beautiful Saturday morning, and as we know, Saturdays are for games. We have so many games going on across the globe, and amongst these many games, we selected a few of them that we had our in-depth analysis made on these games and bring it forward for you. And in a short while, we're looking at these matches. There's a whole lot of them, and we'll be making our verdict based on the recent games that they played, and also how they performed from home and away perspective and all that. And we'll bring all that together to give you the best possible verdict for these very games. Okay, all right. I want to use the opportunity to ask those of us who are coming across our video for the first time and yet to subscribe to kindly take our time to hit the subscription button right now. Do it right now so that you do not miss out on our subsequent games that will always come up on this channel on a daily basis. Okay, all right. That being said, let's head to the business of the day. Without further ado, we'll be starting with the Spanish La Liga match where we'll have FC Barcelona who will be up against Atletico Bilbao. Okay, as usual, we look at Barcelona, the home side. They've been able to achieve 4 victories in the recent 6 games that they had, and they've also had 2 draws. All right, and Bilbao, on the other hand, their away side have managed to achieve 2 victories, but they have lost 3 games and drawing 1 in the past 6 recent games that they have so far. So when you look at the performances from home and away perspective, you can see that the home side, FC Barcelona have actually been able to achieve 7 victories in the past 10 home games that they had, but they've had just 1 loss and as well as 2 draws in the past 10 home games that they had. And looking at the away side, and Atletico Bilbao, they've had 3 victories but they've lost 7 games out of the past 10 away games. That tells you this is not a very perfect side when they're playing from away, and they've lost 70% of their away games, so they're not doing very well from away. And when you look at the head-to-head proceeding for both sides, you can see that Barcelona has actually been very, very dominant of this very, very head-to-head. Even though the last time they met, saw them playing out a 0-0 draw, but Barcelona haven't actually lost in the 13 times they've met these very opponents. They've been very, very, very dominant. There's never been a time Atletico Bilbao have achieved outright victory against Barcelona in the past 13 games. So it is Barcelona who has been very dominant, and we still do expect the home side FC Barcelona to achieve a win in this one. Seeing the performance against Valencia in the last in the first the opening match of this very season. So we do expect home side to win outright in this very game. That's our verdict, and that takes us to the next for today. It is in English Premiership match where we have Aston Villa who is coming up against Arsenal FC. All right, when you look at recent games for Aston Villa, they've been able to achieve 2 victories, but they've lost 4 games out of the past recent 6 games that they had. But their away side, on the other hand, Arsenal have been able to achieve 3 victories, but they've had 2 draws, as well as 1 loss in the past recent 6 games that they had. And when you look at the performances for both sides from home and away perspective, and also bearing in mind that it was Aston Villa who took away 6 points from Arsenal last season, thereby making them lost out to Manchester City, in the title race last season. But when you look at Aston Villa, the home side, in the past 10 home games, they've been able to achieve 5 victories, but they've also had 3 draws as well as 2 losses in the past 10 home games that they had. And with side Arsenal FC, on the other hand, have been able to achieve 6 victories from away, losing 3, and as well as achieving a draw in the past 10 away games. But we see a very good Arsenal side in the first match of this very season. They were able to defeat their opponent with goals from Kai Havertz and Bukayo Saka stepping up on that occasion. But in this very game, we'll be expecting Arsenal to make amends for losing out to Aston Villa last season on both legs last season. So we do expect a win for Arsenal even from away in this very one. Away win outrightly, that's what we expect in this very encounter. And that will take us to the next time. It is in German Bundesliga where we have Borussia Dortmund who will be up against Eintracht Frankfurt in the German Bundesliga side. And we look at the home side, they've won 3 and they've had 2 draws as well as 1 draw. So Dortmund have been able to achieve 3 wins, 2 draws and 1 loss. And the away side, Frankfurt have won 5 games in the past 6 games that they had in recent times, but they've also lost 1 out of those 6 games that they had. And you look at the performances from home and away perspective for both sides, you can see that the home side, Borussia Dortmund, have been able to manage 6 victories in the past 10 home games. They've also lost 2 games, but have had 2 draws as well in the past recent 10 games that they had from home. And with side Eintracht Frankfurt has been doing very well of recent, seeing that they've won 6 games out of the past 10 away games, and they've also had 4 losses in the past 10 away games that they had so far. And as a matter of fact, the last 7 away games that they played out so far, so they're winning 6 out of those 7 and scoring a lot of goals. Looking at the last away game they had, we saw them defeating the Eintracht Braunschweig by 4-1 on that occasion. And prior to that, we also saw them defeating the FSB Frankfurt by 5-2. It shows that it is a team that scores a lot of goals and also concedes as well. So that is to say, and we also saw Borussia Dortmund in the first league match where they played from away, and they won that match by 4-1. So we do expect to see a lot of goals in this very encounter, seeing that the head-to-head perspective for both sides have actually produced a lot of goals. Seeing that 9 games out of the past 10 head-to-head meetings for both sides have actually seen them scoring a whole lot of goals, some of them above 3.5 and above 2.5. On few occasions. So in this very encounter, we expect to see a minimum of 3 goals appearing in this very encounter. It is an over 2.5. That's what valid for this very one. And that takes us to the next for the day, and it is in the Italian Serie A, where we'll have Inter Milan who will be up against Lecce. Okay, when you look at Inter Milan, the home side, have managed to achieve 2 victories, but they've also had 3 draws as well as 1 loss in the past recent 6 games that they had. And with side Lecce, on the other hand, have won just a single match in the past 6 games, losing 5 games out of those 6 recent encounters they have so far. And when you look at how these 2 teams have performed from home and away perspective, taking it down to now, you see that Inter Milan, the home side, have been able to manage 6 victories from home. They've also had 3 draws as well as a single loss, just 1 loss, which came in the preseason match against Al Ittihad on that occasion. But Lecce, on the other hand, have been able to achieve 3 victories from away. They've also had 2 draws, but they have lost 5 games in the past 10 away games that they had so far. And the first match of this very season for Inter Milan saw them playing out a 2-2 draw against Genoa on that occasion. So they will be looking for that motivation to kickstart a winning run in this very encounter. And looking at Lecce, on the other hand, they lost out to Atalanta in the first leg, in the first match of this very season, by 4-0 on that occasion. So that tells you that Lecce is not the best side at the moment. They're not in the best form at the moment. So we still do expect Inter Milan, the home side, to achieve a win in this one. Home winner out shortly. That's our verdict for that very game. And that will push us to the next game for the day. It is also in Italian Serie A, where we have Parma coming up against AC Milan. And Parma have won 3 games in recent 6 games that they played, and they've also had 2 losses as well as 1 draw. But the away side, AC Milan, have won 2 games in the past 6 games that they had so far, but they've also lost 1 game, and they've achieved 3 draws in the past 6 recent encounters. But when you look at performances from both sides, considering from home and away perspective, you could as well say that the Parma FC, the home side, have had 5 wins in the past 10 games that they had, but they've also had 2 draws, and also they've lost 3 games in the past 10 home games that they had so far. But the away side, AC Milan, have managed to achieve 3 victories from away, but they've also had 4 draws and as well as 3 losses in the past 10 away games that they had so far. And we saw them playing out 2-2 draw, in that first leg of this, in the first match of this very season, where they played out a 2-2 draw to Torino on that occasion. And we also saw Parma also, doing playing out a draw against Fiorentina in the season's opener. And looking at how these 2 teams have performed from head-to-head perspective, you could see that last time they met, which was in 2021, 3 years ago, saw AC Milan defeating this side by 3-1 from away actually. And AC Milan has been very, very dominant of the head-to-head proceedings, winning on all occasions, winning 8 times out of 10, and Parma winning on 1 occasion, the other one being a draw. And that's to say that Milan have actually dominated the head-to-head proceedings for both sides, and we expect to see a better Milan side in this one, seeing that they actually missed a lot of opportunities against Torino, and we expect to see Milan side kicking up their winning campaign in this very one. So away win, that's our verdict for this very game. We expect to see in Milan side win shortly. That's what we expect. And that takes us to the next. It is in Sweden, where we have Parma coming up against Malmo, and Parma have won 2 in the past recent 6 games, but they've also lost 4 games out of those. But their away side Malmo have managed to achieve 3 victories, but they have lost 2 games, and 1 draw in the past, recent 6 games that they had so far. Looking at performances from home and away perspective, you can see that the home side Parma FC have managed to achieve just 2 victories in the past 10 home games. They've also had 1 draw, and as well as 7 losses in the past 10 home games that they had so far. But looking at the away side Malmo FC have been able to achieve 5 victories from away. They've also had 4 losses as well as 1 draw in the past 10 away games that they had so far. And taking a look at the performances from head-to-head perspective, you could see that it is Malmo who has been very dominant. Seeing that the last time they met, which was in May this year, saw Malmo FC defeating this side by 5-0, and that tells us that the away side Malmo is heavy favorites in this one to pick up the spoils. So we do expect to see an away win in this very encounter. Away win outrightly. That's our plan for this very game. Okay, and that brings our positions for you today on Betkraft to a conclusion. All right, I wish you the very best of luck, and I hope your ticket goes great just as usual. And also remember to bet responsibly. It's actually a football game, and anything can happen and can go either way. All right, that being said, tomorrow is another day. Tomorrow is Sunday. We'll be coming up with Sunday Millionaires games. Remember that it's a day that we try to play out a longer ticket, see how it goes, and also accumulate some games that actually gets us to a million. All right,